Hello, grade 5. How are you today? Today we're going to talk about the differences between two tenses. So first of all, what I want you to do is to look at these two sentences. I saw my old friend last year. I have already seen my old friend. So what's the difference between these two sentences? Pay attention and I'll tell you about the difference between them. And how do we use these two different tenses, the past simple and the present perfect? Both of these tenses, the past and the present perfect, are used to talk about actions that happened and finished in the past. Now, the question is, why do we have these two different tenses? And why we can't just use one of them? Why we can't just use the past simple or just the present perfect? The answer is, these two tenses are used to talk about actions that got completed in the past, but we use them in different situations. Okay? In the past simple, we use it to talk about actions that happened in the past, but at a specific time. So what's the meaning of specific time? For example, last year, last month, last Monday, last January, okay, or yesterday in 1999. So the main point or the important point in the past tense is to talk about the specific point of time or when these actions happened or completed in that time. But in the present perfect, when the action got completed or when it happened isn't important, and the important thing are its results or its consequences. Now, pay attention at these points to know more about the difference between the past simple and the present perfect. The first difference is the past time expression or adverbs of frequency for the past simple. The first one is yesterday, last night, last month, last week, in 1999, last Monday. So these adverbs of frequency, we can't use it in the present perfect and we use it just in the past simple. For example, I completed my homework yesterday. So yesterday is the adverb of frequency of the past simple. But I can't say I have completed my homework yesterday. Why? Because this is the present perfect tense. In this tense, we can't use the adverb of frequency of the past simple because yesterday is the adverb of frequency of the past and we can't use it with the present perfect. So it's false. Difference 2. When you talk about life experiences and achievements, you always use the present perfect. You never use the past tense. For example, I visited Spain, but when it happened or when I visited this country isn't important here in the present perfect. But if I say I visited Spain, I need to tell the time or when I visited this country. So I must say I visited Spain last month or I visited Spain last year, yesterday, in 1994. Okay? So I need to use the adverb of frequency of the past simple. The third, so this is false and this one is true. The third difference is continued actions. We use the present perfect to talk about actions that started in the past and still continue or and still in the present are happening. Okay? For example, she has lived in this house for many years or for 10 years. Okay? So it means that she lived many years back or 10 years back and still for today lives in this house. And don't forget, the present perfect can be used with ever, never, since, for, just, already, yet, and before. When I see these timed expressions in the sentence, so directly I should use or I should put the verb in the present perfect.